Morning.
Morning, Lynn. Can you hear me?
How are you?
Good, good. So can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How about
Okay.
Mr. Bob?
Good morning, everyone.
Morning. So, let me see. Carry on. Yes, we can start. Carry on. Carry on.
So Lynn, we just share the screen and control the slides on our side.
Yes. So, would all of you, when it's your turn, please prepare with your presentation and control your slide from your side. Yes. So, are you ready with all the equipments?
Yeah, I think so. Okay.
Yes. So, can you hear me well now?
Yeah.
Yes, that's better, right? Okay. So, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday we have had a very fruitful day listening to all the sharing from many experienced speakers and experts in the tourism industry. And what I like and remember the most is there are many things that we are uncertain, but there is one thing that we are certain, that is tourism will come back stronger and safer. And a lot of theories and a lot of case has been shared yesterday. And today to this forum with the topic about safety travel, I think that today with all the special experts that we invite today, and we can call that they are tourism veterans. And we have that, we will hear, it is a great pleasure for all of us to listen to the three special experts today. And because they have experience through many positions in the industry for a long time, and now they can share on the topic of the most concern now in practical, that talk about the protocols and the safety, which is now has become the decisive factors for the decision of making traveling of all the people now. So shall we start today first with Mr. Roberto Zamora Zozo Prado from the Philippines, and his topic is recalibrating tourism's standards towards the travel, restoring travel confidence. And Roberto graduate from the University of San Carlos in Cebu City, Elysium of the, and later the University of California in Berkeley. His work experience spread from the tour desk clerk at St. Francis Hotel in San Francisco, and then the accountant manager of Panam, and then director of sales of Hyatt Regency Manila, and later as general manager of Thomas Cook. He continued to move on up to managing director for Thai Airways, GSA, and then country manager of Northwest Airlines, GSA, for the Philippines and Micronesia. He taught tourism part-time in St. Scholastica College, St. Beda Alaban, Far Eastern University, and at LPU, where he was later appointed to be the head of the College of International Tourism and Hospitality Management. His career continued with LPU till now after retirement. He has received countless travel industry awards and teaching awards. He was a PR consultant for the Macau Government Tourist Office and continued to write a weekly tourism column for Manila Standard. He was recently re-elected to another 2-year term as chairman of the Philippines chapters of the Pacific Asia Travel Association, the biggest tourism organization in the world. So now, welcome Mr. Roberto Zamora Zozo Prado from the Philippines with the topic recalibrating tourism standards towards restoring travel confidence. So everybody, welcome Mr. Roberto.
Okay. You want me to proceed now with my presentation?
Yes, please.
Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, the big question in the minds of leisure travelers these days is it safe to travel? Which means the big task ahead for all of us in the tourism industry is to restore travel confidence. If we are to get back the revenues that we lost and go up to the level of how it was pre-COVID times, we have to do everything we can to restore travel confidence. And travel confidence is feeling at ease from the time the person books his trip until he returns home. And it is the only way we can really restore it easily is to project the image that the destination is safe, or travelers are safe when they finally make the trip. Now, safe travel, I made my own definition of safe travel actually, which I based on the standards of the World Travel and Tourism Council. And I said here that safe travel is actually the movement of people from the origin to destination, which following the health and safety protocols prescribed by the World Health Organization and backed up by the World Tourism Organization, ensuring that the travelers, their modes of transportation, and the origin and the destination follow strictly the health and safety protocols that have been established. The World Travel and Tourism Council made it easy for us when we plan our trip because they have issued safe travel passes. And what are these? These are stamps of acknowledgement that establishments have consistently comply with the prescribed health and safety protocols. So you plan your trip and you want to know which hotels you want to stay at, then you might want to take a look at which of the hotels have safe travel passes. Here in the Philippines, among the first two who were issued safe travel passes by the World Travel and Tourism Council is the Joy Nostalgia Hotel in our Ortigas Business District, the 5-star hotel that's right in front of the Asian Development Bank. Now, safety is really the number one image that we have to project right now to all these leisure travelers, because unfortunately the fear factor still persists and brought about by the stigma of what the COVID devastation has put on all of us travelers, including our financial status. So the fear factor is something that we have to get rid of among the travelers. In fact, to prove my point, there was a survey that was conducted by Bloom Consulting, which is a prestigious and leading consultancy agency based in Europe. They created a scenario during their survey. They created a scenario, and the first scenario they created was there's no more travel restrictions, no quarantine at destination, and the virus spread is controlled. But guess what? 45% of leisure travelers still did not want to travel. They created another scenario, which is even better, because In that scenario, the virus is almost eradicated and cure for the virus has already been discovered. Still, a good 35% of leisure travelers do not want to travel. And the best scenario that they created was the virus is fully eradicated. But there is still a 15% of these leisure travelers who do not want to travel. So unfortunately, this stigma created by the virus, the effect of the virus, devastating effect, with so many of our friends and acquaintances dying because of it, has instilled this great fear in these leisure travelers. So what do we have to do? We have to redirect our efforts and restructure our industry. But first, we must deal with the following facts. We have to understand that the decrease in leisure travel is not only because of the decrease in disposable income, which is a consequence of the pandemic. The decrease in leisure travel is basically, as I mentioned earlier, the feeling of being unsafe. So feeling unsafe kills the desire to travel for leisure. So what do we have to remember now? Travelers would prefer to go to destinations that are outdoor, nature, low density destinations where there are not too many people, in order to further decrease the incidence of contamination. Destinations that are perceived to have good health infrastructure will now be preferred by the leisure travelers. So how do we respond to this new mindset? First, we have to repackage what we are going to offer tourists. I think for now, it is the best time to offer and to put forward smaller, low density destinations, because these are the ones that are going to be preferred by tourists. Now, price competition should not be there, because 15% of those that were surveyed showed that, where the 15% chose price as the reason for not traveling for leisure. 85% were looking for the less crowded destinations with an effective healthcare infrastructure. So do not lower your rates. Do not lower your prices. In fact, you should maintain your prices so you can easily get back what you lost during these months of tourism closure, and probably get as back to pre-COVID times as fast as you can. Another way of doing it is marketing promotions should always be supported by the government. The government policies should always be in sync with what the marketing promotions of that destination are, so that it will be perceived as a safe and solid and well-equipped destination for the leisure travelers. And lastly, the destination must be able to adapt to uncertainties. There must be a team or a plan that can easily adapt or analyze or respond to whatever crisis there may be, especially those brought about by these health hazards. Now, all over the world, tourism establishments and all the components of tourism have implemented the following health and safety protocols. And this is to further project the image that the destination or the establishment or the mode of transportation is safe for leisure travelers. All these are required all over the world in whatever capacity or whatever tourism establishment you're in, whatever country you're in, you'll know that these requirements are there. Negative PCR tests are required of passengers, physical distancing. Oh, by the way, let me digress a little bit. Physical distancing is the phrase that I use here, because I am one person who do not want to subscribe to the use of the phrase social distancing, because I think social distancing is a misnomer. It's in fact an oxymoron, because social distancing means to be social, you have to be together with people. How can you be together when you are distancing yourself from people? So social distancing is not the phrase to be used. I use physical distancing. Of course, that's me. That you can do your own thing. Foot baths and for face masks and all these things are um, implemented and are used, and health declaration forms, contactless transactions. There, as I mentioned, used in all the components of the tourism industry. But what do the other tourism establishments do to enhance further the safety measures? Online check-in is available now in airline ticket offices, and contactless boarding passes are issued so that you don't have to have anybody detach your boarding pass and just scan it yourself as you board a plane. So these are additional measures of safety and health. Safety at the airport, how is it being done? Um, this continuous disinfecting of high-touch areas, and senior citizens, PWDs, pregnant women, and children are herded towards a separate area so that they can easily be attended to. And those showing symptoms of COVID are not allowed to enter the terminal. What about on board the aircraft? I'm basing this list, by the way, in what we have here in the Philippines, but I'm sure all the other countries abroad follow the same thing. This list of measures that are implemented, I'm showing to you now, came from Philippine Airlines, but I'm sure all the other airlines also do the same thing. Cabin air is now refreshed every 2 minutes and is flowing from top to bottom, because not sideways, in order to decrease further the incidence of contamination. Cabin surfaces are rigorously disinfected, and aircraft is fitted with hospital-grade filtration system, so that 99.99% of these airborne bacteria and viruses are eliminated. In fact, this is a picture of actual cabin crew of Philippine Airlines. When I walk into them, these are the people, walk into the aircraft, these are the people who welcome you. And in fact, when I walked into the aircraft, I had the feeling, I was wondering, am I going on a trip, or am I going to check in into an ICU? But anyway, that's how they are dressed right now. All the cabin crews of the different airlines. In-flight meals are sanitized, lavatories, high-touch surfaces are disinfected, and in the aircraft, at least in Philippine Airlines, the last 3 rows of the aircraft are left vacant, because this is going to be the isolation section in case anybody in the aircraft develops some symptoms while in flight. The cabin crew isolates them from the rest of the passengers for our safety. Now, what about in hotels? What are they doing? In the Philippines, the number of guests in the hotel room depends on the size of the room. If it's a bigger room like a suite, maybe they can accommodate 4 or 5, and then they must come from the same household. But in a regular room, only 2 are allowed, and they must come from the same household. Advanced reservations are encouraged, and of course, contactless transactions, even with a payment. Online payments are encouraged. Even the hotel dining areas are following strict the safety protocol. I'll show you a picture of myself. This is me right after the lockdown. I was craving my usual juicy steak and wine, so I went to a hotel, 5-star hotel's restaurant, to order that. And while I was looking at a waiter, I was wondering, is he going to serve me my food, or is he going to surgically remove my tonsils? Because this is how the waiters now are dressed
Mr.
up.
Bob, may I remind that you have 2 minutes, 2 more minutes.
Okay, I'm almost done. Okay, tourist attractions are also controlled. The group is controlled. Visitor entry is controlled through pre-registration and allocated time slots. And entrance and exits are separate from each other in order to avoid guest clustering. Contactless transactions are also enforced, And tour guides use lapel microphones, and then express lanes is used for seniors, PWDs, and pregnant women. And there is an isolation area for those developed symptoms. Now, why do we have to do all these things? These are very important because in order for us to restore the travel confidence in leisure travelers, we must project the image of safety for all these travelers. And so we have to combat that fear factor and make it safe for these passengers. We can probably remind them that this quote from Jack Canfield, who's a motivational speaker, an American author, he said, everything you want is on the other side of fear. So as long as we conquer fear, we can get the beautiful things that our world offers. And that is it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bob. And we quite like the idea that you say physical distancing, not social distancing. Yes. And just one question now, that from your side, when we talk that we should organize in small groups and people come back to nature and so and so. So would you share any realistic experience in organizing travel service from your companies in that
Unfortunately, I cannot give you an example yet as of now because we haven't really started to open tourism here in the Philippines. In fact, we're just starting now to create travel bubbles for domestic sites from one area to the other. We just recovered from a complete lockdown because there has been very recently a surge in COVID contaminations. So I'm sorry, I cannot give you an example for that.
I think that we can come back to the Q&A at the end, and at that time we will have more time for questions.
Okay.
And now we would like to invite our next speaker because, as you know, airlines is very important. And then when we talk about safety in travel, especially from place to place, and airlines, as Mr. Bob has already mentioned part of it in his presentation, we now come to another speaker who also talk about the safe travels amid pandemic, the role of airlines cabin crew, because it is so important. And we would like to introduce the next speaker, that is Joe Vithajapan. And Joe is a full-time lecturer of Airlines Business Management Programs, Stanford International University, and an adjunct lecturer at some universities in Thailand also. He is now PhD student in Development and Sustainability Program in School of Environment, Resource and Development from Asian Institute of Technology, together with another PhD in Non-Formal Education Program in Faculty of Education from Chulalongkorn University. Prior to academic professional, he worked for an airline for more than 20 years in several positions, such as flight attendants, sales and marketing, and ground services. He has extensively experience in all aspects of tourism industry, airline business, travel agent, and key important stakeholder in building, promoting tourism. He is also active in research with topics and issues related to tourism and hospitality, aviation, and education. With such experiences, maybe you can guess what he can share to us and what we will present today. Okay, so would we invite Sanghakok Vithajapan, please.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Lynn. Good morning, everyone, and distinguished guests from all over the world. Okay, Lynn has introduced myself already, so let me share my screen. Okay. Okay, so I should skip this one, the first one that Lynn already introduced myself. So moving next to the topic. The reason is why I choose this topic. When you see this picture, I think that this picture speaks itself, and this picture is a simply and beautifully. is a normal task of the cabin crew who carry out their duty during on the flight. However, when you see this picture, I think that you can see something is so meaningful. It's so meaningful in the picture that when the cabin crew they try to perform their duty as a professionalist and also perform their duty effectively. During this tough time, we have to accept one thing that cabin crews are more at risk for the COVID-19 than everyone else on the planes, because the cabin crew have to work in changing environment and also changing co-worker and changing passenger. So the safety of the passenger, of course, is the top priority. However, the cabin crew, the person who perform duty and who can carry out the success of the business must be addressed and must not be overlooked. Okay, so that's why I choose this topic. And also the reason is I was a cabin crew for 10 years and I know exactly how they feel now. When I was a cabin crew, I also faced some tough situation during the time of SARS or Ebola, even though that SARS and Ebola is not as serious as COVID-19, but I know exactly how we feel and how we have to save ourselves when we perform our duty. Okay, this diagram just to show you that how much impact of the air travel. This data I obtained from International Civil Aviation Organization. You can see the data and you can notice that the first 2 months of January and February in 2020 are so positive. We are so positively in growing of the air travel year on year, but suddenly after the spread of COVID-19, the operation impact on the air travel dramatically. You can see that it's a huge loss, a massive loss of the air operation. The question is when we can come back, when we can rebuild. We need to help each other between tourism and aviation is so interlinked. People could not travel to the destination. Well, the destination could not rebuilding that tourism. But when the air travel can rebuild, when we can have a safe health and hygiene and vaccine to protect a passenger, so the air travel will resume fully in operation. But I'm sure that not long we will travel again as we wish to travel. Okay, so this photo also speak itself. You can see that the safety and security on board is a top priority of every airlines. Every airlines must perform and must initiate the standard of the safety and security on board to ensure passengers when they travel. But the paradigm shift already. Of course, the safety and security on board as normal procedures is still vital and in the top priorities. Additionally, for the hygiene and health of the passenger is much more paramount. Also, the hygiene and health being of the cabin crew who are interactive with the passenger must be addressed and must not be overlooked, as I mentioned. Well, safe travel in the air. In general, there are more than 100,000 flights take off and landing in the sky every day in globally level. During the pandemic, of course, it's a huge loss and also dramatically of the flight frequency drop by 80–90%. However, we wish to resume overflight takeoff and landing. And I'm confident that after the resolution of the COVID-19, we're getting better, the air travel will resume more than 100,000 flights because travel by the air still is the safest mode of the travel. Also, some of the destinations, some of the country depend on 100% the air travel accessibility. So that's why tourism so much depend on air travel. Air travel also interlinked with the tourism to rebuild and to recover the whole industry. So safe travel, additional now, is not only for safety demonstration. It's not only for security during the flight of the passenger. Health and hygiene the airline need to implement. Okay, cabin crew during and post COVID-19. As I mentioned earlier, cabin crew are more at risk for COVID-19 than everyone else on the planes. So when they perform their job, how we ensure that they are in a safe mode. And also during this time, most of cabin crew, of course, they feel insecure about their job security. There are so many news, and there are so many situations happen with the airline in terms of the business performance, and some airline even kind of bankruptcy. So the security job of the cabin crew is so insecure. However, they still want to perform their job. If they do not perform their job still in at risk. But when they perform their job, of course, they are at the most risk to catch the COVID-19 as well. So the rule and regulation of the flight and duty time limitation would help the cabin crew. This rule and regulation is normal practice and normal standardization to apply with the cabin crew all over the world. But during this time, we have to use these ones to protect the cabin crew in terms of they need to perform their duty to save their job security. However, their life is also secure. It must be secure by the operator or the airline. Okay, new normal. During the time of the significant change, we can see that this photo I just obtained from ground staff as well. It's not only the cabin crew that are the more risks for COVID-19. I understand pretty well with the ground staff when they perform their duty at the airport or at the check-in counter, at the boarding gate, to interact with the customers. Well, both the air crew and the air ground, we are at more risk for the COVID-19. During the time of the significant change, I think that to manage fatigue and to manage an operational safety remains a primary focus of the airlines as an operator. And airlines need to monitoring and encourage all the aircraft and also the air crew to report what is the fatigue and what is the operational safety without any fear of consequences. Because right now, you know, the employee at the airlines, we all feel insecure with our job. So that's why sometimes we do not report exactly, because we are afraid that if we report something, the company may see as is not suitable or you are not fit for duty anymore. So that's why somehow we have to be patient. We have to carry out our duty, even though we have something to manage ourselves. I think that's collecting and analyzing the data of the fatigue and operational safety from the staff, both the aircraft and the air crew, is crucial. It's crucial for the airlines to analyze and monitoring and treat the case seriously. And also the staff have to report this fatigue without any fear consequences. This is the recommendation. From my experience, how I would like to recommend some of the standard to protect and also to focus on the cabin crew duty. During this time, of course, with the FTL, the flight duty time limitation would help to protect the cabin crew to not working in the full roster, and also the flight should be operate with the option of augments of the crew. So we must have a supplement crew and standby crew to help each other. And also the different rest facility use. This one I really like to mention, because when it was cabin crew, we have a crew rest, we have a bunk for over rest time. However, the crew rest and the bunk for the crew rest is really packed, is really jammed. Sometimes there are about 6 seats. Then we have to sit together. We have to sit really close. But during this physical distancing, how would we apply? We could not sleep in the same bunk. We could not sit next together in the crew rest. So the business class or first class, if we have a seat available, it should be allowed for the cabin crew to take those seats for the crew rest. For the crew rest. However, in this case, it may impact on the airlines' business performance because the airlines are facing a big loss already. We have to gain over revenue. Slowly and step by step, when we stable on our safety procedures, I think that the business will resume because people so eager and so really want to travel like me. Okay, the mindset of the crew, the mission focus. I think that every airlines have to encourage the mindset, the attitude, or the attitude of the crew is so much important because rather than reinforcing the crew to perform their duty because they need to be in their position because their job security. I think that instead of reinforcing of the job security, encouraging the mindset of the crew, the mission that they need to perform, I think that is quite crucial and this time. Healthcare system also have to prepare and have to protect the cabin crew. So later I have 2 examples of the airlines. The airline who already initiate the program to protect the cabin crew and also the program to protect the passenger when the passenger travel on the plane style. Okay, so the first one, what the airlines need to respond in this situation. The first example that I have seen from Singapore Airline Group. Singapore Airline Group immediately taken action to provide vaccines for all the flight crew and the cabin crew to ensure that all the flight crew and cabin crew, they have preventions from the COVID-19 so they can perform their duty professionally and effectively.
May I remind that you have 2 more minutes?
Okay, to explain. Okay, this is quite one of the good immediate actions of the airline who performs instead of issuing all the policy and the standard of health and well-being of the passenger who want to travel, but they build the confidentiality and they build the reliabilities of the of their staff, of their supply side to the demand side that we are safe, we take in action. Another example of Qantas Airways, Wales Fly Well program. Fly Well program has been launched by Qantas Airways to ensure that all the crews and all the staff and all the passengers will treat with the health and hygiene, starting from the pre-flight, okay, the contactless between check-in counter, between the boarding gate, the optional of the online check-in they implement, and on-board flight. Also, Qantas Airways have provided the hospital, the air-grade filtration with 99.9%. It can remove the airborne contamination such as viruses and bacteria to ensure that we are safe and clean the hygiene of the everyone's on board. Okay, so I wish that traveling will rebound soon. We are eager to travel. We all wish to travel again. So tourism cannot be building without aviation. Aviation cannot be building without any vaccinations. So we wish all the best with everyone. Okay, thank you very much. ขอบคุณครับ
Thank you very much, Dr. Sanakok Vitayapon. Yes, and I agree with you that the airlines is the crucial industry for tourism to come back, and it is very happy that to listen to you and know that the airline industry has taken on a lot of safety measure for the people. And of course, every people, not only in airlines, but people in tourism industry, we also worry about the readiness and the enthusiasm of people when they come back to work, especially at this moment. And I hope that the people in airline industry will receive the priority for vaccination. I think that is another thing that will help them to release the worry for themselves. Okay, and now I would like to invite the third speaker of today's forum. That is Dr. Thon Sinan from Cambodia. Dr. Sinan Thom is the chairman of PATA Cambodia chapter, who has over 22 years of hospitality and tourism industry experience, ranging from Southeast Asia to Europe. Dr. Sinan is a key figure in Cambodia tourism industry. He was the co-founder and former president of the Cambodian Tourism Federation. In late 2018, he was appointed as the board member of Cambodia Tourism Marketing Research and Promotion by the Royal Government of Cambodia. Dr. Sinan also has been owning two companies, such as B2B Cambodia, Travel Tours, Mice and Trading Company, and IMCT Company. Dr. Sinan holds a master's degree in international tourism from the Professional Institute of Budapest, Hungary, and a doctoral of business administration of tourism from the Joint Program of the Alfred Nobel Open Business School, Hong Kong, and King Sigismund College in 2014. And would we welcome Dr. Sinan with the topic of today is safety travel.
Hi, good morning. Thank you, Lynn, for your introduction. Allow me to start to share the screen. Well, I have been learning a lot today from the different speakers, from our friend from Philippines and from our Thai friend. Yeah, so we learned something different thing. And even there's a similar topic, what we have been discussing from one speaker to one speaker. However, there are many things to learn. Yeah, many things to learn. Okay, allow me to start share my screen. Okay, just 1 second.
It seems that we has taken a little bit over your time a little bit.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's okay.
Sorry for that.
I could not find my how I share my screen here. I have been prepared. Just
Dr. Sinan, this is the Zoom. Okay. I thought you cannot share. We can have to share. Okay, please go ahead. Thank you.
hello.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry for the delay. This one. All right. Yeah, I do have some point which I like to share today. Everyone know that we in almost 2 years, which we are falling into the heavy crisis of the COVID-19. Not only Cambodia, but across the global. Just some country who very deeply crisis. Some country, I mean, they're not too heavy, but I think we all have the same situation. The tourism have been almost killed out, yeah, almost killed out. And example like Cambodia, I can say that 99% of the tourism sector have been closed off. a lot of five-star hotel in most of the attraction site have been closed down. It's a hotel in like Phnom Penh, which still be opening for the quarantine purpose because Cambodia government have been not the close the air traveling yet, so we are not closing the country, so that's why there's still apply coming into the country. So come back to the topic of safe travel today. I have three points to share. One is the vision. The reason which I like to mention today that everyone I mean both the private sector and the government sector, we need to form up the vision, the same vision, in order to effectively address the COVID and also to mitigate its present and the future impact it sends in the travel tourism, and in order to join force to place the coordination and consistent approach together with the government and the health expert, also to ensure the speedy and the effectively recoveries once the crisis have been established. So I think each country need to form up the same vision, in order to speed up the recovery. Okay. The goal that I like to share today is, you can see that our industry have been falling down to almost to zero. Even there are some country have been we in the 2021 some country have been resumed the domestic tour, such as China, and I believe there are some Asian country as well, also in some part of the Europe. But if you're talking to the international traveler, it's still almost zero, except there are some businessmen who are mission which they need to carry on their duty, that they're still traveling. So that's I think that to build up the same goal, is very important in order to find the solution, in order to create a safety protocol from at your own destination. I have been go through to the WTTCO, I mean World Travel and Tourism Council. They have been create very good platform of a safe travel STEM, which also mentioned have been present some part of our previous speaker as well. So that's one of the very good model, very good platform, which many of us should be learned from. And then I've been noted that almost over 140 5 destinations have been using it, and over 21 countries, including the 2 countries in Asia, Philippines and Indonesia, have been working on this one. And then Caribbean country, Latin, and also some part of the Eastern Europe as well have been using that one. So to build up the goal, to build up the same goal, and to build up the trust and confidence from one to another, that is very important at this moment. Yeah. The global protocol have been mentioned early, should be very well designed and to fit their own destination. You can see that there are almost 10 sector in our tourism industry, which we need to have a proper set protocol, and to having the what you call the healthy procedure, including the hospitality, attraction sites, aviation, airport, outdoor retail, tourism, tour operation, convention center, and also transport company, insurance, and shopping mall. I think that at this moment, it's not advisory that to having any country to to resume the tourism. I mean, such as Cambodia, we also planning to open for vaccinated tourism in the Q4. But what the advisory that I have today, that we should not look to the big scale of the traveling. I mean, we should minimum of the traveling, group traveling in between 6 to 20 in order it's easy to control and easy to divide the area. Easy to divide the area and easy to protect the care and safety. To traveling in this situation, I think that it's not a convenient, but of course, like my friend Thai speaker have been mentioned, everyone eager to traveling. I mean, even myself, I also want to traveling. But when you're asking for the traveling, then the first question, how safe, how you going to enjoy, what you're going to bring back home as well. So that's, I think that the global protocol or the country protocol of the safety that are important to think about and also to care about. The global protocol, which I was thinking about, I mean, we should be divided to some area, which, okay, let's say the outdoor retail, we should have at least 5 main points. One, to restarting the operation, to ensure and responsible and secure the experience, to rebuild trust and confidence, to integrate, to integration, innovation, implement the policy, and also hospitality, operation staff, ensuring the safety experience, rebuild the trust and confidence, and implement. So I think here again, I mean, still we mentioned about the trust and confidence. So the trust and confidence that is very important. So need all the country, from one country to one country, to show the loyalty, to show the confidence to each other in order to rebuild, to resume the tourism back. Because at this moment, I mean, of course, I believe that some countries are planning to open, but they will going to select some certain market for them to start up. But if you only start up for some certain market, which you will overlook to other market, also it's not fair to everyone as well. So that's why here, what I like to say, the loyalty to show what is the reality, to show the confidence, to make the trust between one country to one country, from one partner to one partner, are very important to start up. Here are the some sample which I have been copied from the World Tourism and Travel Council, which there are some guidelines what they have been made, which it's very useful for everyone to study, including myself. I have.
Dr. Bob, may I remind that you have 2 more minutes?
Okay, thank you. Why we need the protocol during the pandemic era? The protocol are designed to help to rebuild the confidence among the global tourism sector. It helps to ease service provider the destination when the traveling conditions safe and to resume the travel. It serves as a guideline to travel the provider, operator, and traveler as what they should do and what they should not do, mainly on the new normal approach to the health and hygiene in this post-pandemic era travel. It will allow the alignment and consistency to ensure the safety for traveler and the workforce of the destination. The best practice for the travel post, at all times use the PPE and observe the safety and care protocol destination and having your daily and your temperature monitor at least 3 times per day. Use a tracking form or mobile app to record your daily temperature, like what Korean have been done. in order to in order to control wherever you're coming from, either from hotel or from restaurant or from the attraction area. So to control your temperature, to having the test before your departure, the COVID test, that is very useful, because now the technology very modern and very civilization. There's a rapid test which you can test and the result within 15 minutes. So this also very useful to start up. Yeah. Again, build up the confidence among each other are very important. I have been mentioned early. If we want to start up, if we want to resume the traveling tourism back, we all have to loyalty. We all have to build up the confidence among our friend and the partner. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Thorn. And ladies and gentlemen, valued speakers, we hope that this 1 hour is short, but enough to provide you with some more insights into the protocols and the procedures applicable for your business. The focus from our speakers today, we can see that the focus on using the technology and online services before the tour, booking the tour is very important. And we also heard about the collaboration, the trust, and the linkage among stakeholders, and the 10 proposed initial partners in tourism industry at this time is a good advice for the safety in tourism, because in the Maslow hierarchy, safety is the next important to the basic needs for us and for anybody to make the decision for travel now. So we are sure that there are still a lot of initiative from all our audience here. So we are very happy to receive your ideas or your feedback to contribute with our feedback sent to you later. So thank you very much for coming to this forum, and have a good day, everybody. And remember to join the next section. Thank you very much and hope to see you again soon. Thank you.